we got that, and then there's other thing that I want to talk about tonight, which is your greatest adventures that you ever went on. I have a couple. I started up a last-minute thread. I have a couple of entries there right now, and we'll go into those, but I also want to get people calling in. And I think that this will be one of those things where it's, hey, you hear it, you start thinking, you want to call in, or you can send me a super chat too if you can't get through. I want to hear from you guys and gals, and I'll lay it all out once we get there. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this 90 minutes or so that we have together on a Saturday night in May. And I have some odd news up for you right now from Oddity Central. It's been a long time since I checked in on this website, and we're gonna go to that. Ready to do that? You ready? You ready? Oh, wait, Matt's not here. Nobody's here. It's just me all by my lonesome. Boom. Headline: Russian cafe breaks the internet with breast milk lattes. Obviously, it didn't break the internet because, unfortunately, it is still here, and this is the first time I'm hearing about it. Probably you too. But, they gotta put together a headline. A breast milk latte. Would you ever drink it? Whether you knew the person or not? A cafe, and then again you say, well, why do you drink milk? Did you know the cow? Oh. It's kind of true, right? Is this cannibalism? No. It wouldn't be cannibalism. That means that the babies are cannibals. That's not true. You're not eating the mother. The mother produces it for consumption. I guess it's just weird. The mother is producing it for this one child. Then again, there's wet nurses. And they're producing it for whoever needs. So, there's a lot of gray in this area. I wonder where we can go with this one tonight. Watch this. This is going to be this will be the subject that dominates the entire episode now. That's the way it happens. Or at least it's happened many times in the past. A cafe in Russian city of Perm has been getting a lot of attention after announcing plans to introduce a controversial breast milk-infused latte on its menu. Perm-based cafe chain Coffee Smile has been the talk of the Russian internet over the past week after announcing intentions to use real human breast milk as an ingredient for coffee products after lattes and cappuccinos. The craziness started earlier this month when Coffee Smile locations started plastering posters advertising the controversial new ingredient. People started sharing photos of the photos on social media. And before long, local businessman and Coffee Smile owner Maxim Kobylev released a promotional video claiming that his cafes will be using genuine breast milk. This is 100% Cambodian. You remember that the Chappelle skit? Genuine Cambodian breast milk. Stored in special pharmacy-grade bags. Man. I recently went on maternity leave and saw that a lot of breast milk is required. I have a lot of it. A young mother and supplier of breast milk for the cafe says in the video. The child eats just a little bit, so I thought, why not earn some extra money? I am a hairstylist, but you can't cut much hair with a child. I even made coffee with breast milk for my husband. He liked it. Kobylev even assures would-be customers that the mothers supplying the breast milk are all tested to ensure the safe consumption of the product. Tested for what? Adding that only about 40 to 45 doses of breast milk-infused drinks will be served in the beginning, with plans to ramp up production to about 1,000 products by the end of the year. You know what they need? When you go into a coffee house and you grab your coffee, then you go over to the mixing station, you can have some the brown sugar, there's the regular granulated sugar, and then you have the honey and the agave and all this other stuff, whatever the hell's going on. And then they have the milk, that terrible skim stuff, whatever the hell that is. It's not milk, it's just something else. And they have the cream. They should have a topless woman there, and you get to actually milk her into... I think you should do it. She's been tested, then she should be there bare-breasted. And let everybody just have a squeeze, have a couple of squirts into your cup, and you have now infused your coffee. That's the world I want to live in. No, I can't. No, that's gross. You're drinking of a stranger's body. It's not. It just doesn't. There's nothing about it that feels right. All right, nothing about it that feels right. But the Russians they're sitting high up on their horse. They've got so much breast milk going around. They're putting it in their coffee, their coffee smile chains. Over here, we've got formula shortages, and in Russia, they're doing so good that they're putting extra breast milk into just like their version of Starbucks. Man, high times in Russia, huh? Oddity Central, let's do another one. Taiwanese restaurant serves ramen dish topped with a scary deep-sea creature. Of course they do. Whenever you talk about Asia, this is the first thing I think about. A horrid-looking creature on top of a bowl of noodles. A Taipei-based restaurant has been getting a lot of attention of its newest addition to the menu, a ramen dish topped with a steamed 14-legged isopod that looks something like out of an alien movie. The Ramen Boy restaurant recently took to Facebook to announce its latest dish, a bowl of ramen featuring a generous helping of giant isopod, which is described as a dream ingredient. Yeah, a nightmare ingredient. Oh my gosh. It's like a gigantic roly-poly, unrolled. Called a giant isopod with creamy chicken broth ramen. The dish consists of a large bowl of ramen and a large isopod steamed in its own shell. To prepare the deep-sea crustacean, the cooks removed the stomach viscera and keeping the creamy glands for consumption and steam it. The white meat is said to taste like lobster and crab, while the yellow glands are unexpectedly sweet. Have some yellow glands. You know, again, this revolts me, but at the same time, last Saturday, I took Lauren and Aurora to a new restaurant we've never been to around here. It's an Italian steakhouse, and it was fantastic. And it was the first time we've been to a restaurant in a while that had a manageable surf and turf menu. You know, I manage surf and turf on my own. I'll go grab some crab cakes. I'll put it in with my steak at home, whatever. But there's most of the restaurants around here, if you want surf and turf, you're going to get a steak and they're going to give you a whole lobster. And I don't like eating whole lobsters. Some people have eaten enough lobsters where they can dismantle this thing, clean all the meat out in no time flat. I'm tearing things apart. I'm breaking, crushing, it's splashing all over the place. So I would like a lobster tail. Give me a nice lobster tail. Same thing though. I'm just used to lobster. It's a roach. It's a sea roach. I'm not used to this thing. But somebody is, and it's nothing. It's not a thing at all. So I'm revolted by this, but at the same time, I understand that when I had surf and turf last week, I was eating a roach, along with my ribeye. So, oh God, look at this thing. Thing's got a fat ass. What's going on here? Thing's twerking in that bowl. That's horrible. Horrible. We're moving on. Here's a sad story. Mihailo Toloto, an 82-year-old monk. Meet the 82-year-old monk who died without ever seeing a real woman. What does that mean? A real woman. Mihailo Toloto was a Greek monk who spent his entire 82-year life on Mount Athos without ever laying eyes on an actual woman. So, probably some Bud Light spokespeople have been over there looking at the monastery or something. Born in the year 1856, Mihailo Toloto faced adversity from the moment he came into the world. His mother died from just 4 hours after his birth, and with no father to claim him as their own, he was abandoned on the steps of a monastery located on Mount Athos, the center of Orthodox monasticism. The monks there took him in, and the monastery became his permanent home. Raised and educated within a walled monastery, Mihailo became a monk and reportedly never ventured off the mountain until his death in 1938. So he died and then he left the mountain? And since women are not permitted to set foot on Mount Athos, Toloto died without ever seeing a woman. Obviously, Toloto isn't the only person to have never seen a woman in their entire lives. People born blind never see anything. Oh, come on. I'm not talking about that. He's never in the presence of a woman. But his story is a particular one in that he never came into contact with a woman, having spent his entire life. See, that's the thing I would like to know about this story, is that, yes, okay, these monks were very nice to taking him in, but at what point did they ever wonder about giving him a normal childhood? Or they all brought in? Is this like the Spartans? You're inspected at 7 months old and then you're thrown away, or you're put into training, left in the woods? I would like to know a little bit more about that. Upon his death, a few monks organized a special funeral for him, believing him to be the only man in the world to have died without ever seeing, touching, or otherwise interacting with a woman. That's the monk's fault. That is the monk's fault right there. Because, obviously, they did not give him a chance. There's a good amount of years up until you are making decisions for yourself so special funeral. That's their fault, man. I don't know. I feel bad for the guy. But then again, he probably had a peaceful life. A peaceful life up there on that mountain, thinking about things, getting lost in thought, not talking to anybody, never having that first kiss. That sounds horrible. I'm sorry. You gotta choose that. You've got to choose that. He didn't choose this. He probably accepted it after a while. He didn't choose it. Oh, here's something, ladies and for the guys out there. This is from the Telegraph. They have a suggestion for us. Sitting down to urinate can be healthier for us guys, especially as we age. Research shows that sitting down could make it easier for the bladder to empty faster and more completely. So squat. Sit down on that toilet. Squat. Who was this written by? David Cox? Bullshit. That's a pen name for some woman who hates to splatter around the edge of the toilet. In Germany, they call them Sitzpinklers, a term designed to poke fun at their masculinity. But some doctors believe that men should not be quite so quick to deride the possible benefits of sitting down to pee. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. You know who will do this? The men who drink skim milk. The skim milk men will say, well, I always wanted to get that last bit of pee out of me. Don't worry, you always get the last bit of pee out of you. It goes right into your pants. You ever hear that? No matter how much you wiggle and dance, the last few drops ends up in your pants. Don't worry, it'll come out. Just relax. Just relax. It'll all come out fine. Now, as far as the squatty potty goes, that's a different story. Shit just falls right out of you. It's true. That's true. But, that is true. Oh, here's a little something I had to show to you. Now that the Little Mermaid, the new live-action, photorealistic Little Mermaid is out and it's not doing good, most of the reviews that I've seen has said, stunk. It stunk. That's what we say in my family. Stunk. Well, and the AP and people who are trying to put a happy face on this are saying, the photorealism is just not taking. Oh yeah, it's the photorealism that really got people here. Anyway, listen to this. A 28-second clip was tweeted out by Drew Hernandez a little while ago, and it's a bedroom scene where Ariel is just laying around, and the seagull and Sebastian, they're like, I don't know. They made new music. And just listen to this. If you can't see it, then listen to this. I'm probably going to get... That's the seagull, by the way. The seagull is rapping with Sebastian because, of course, Ariel's given up her voice. If they kept that in the story, I don't know. So she's not in this. But listen, I almost lost it. I almost lost it. It's hilarious to me how bad it is. I may have to watch it. Not in the theater. I'll find a bootleg somewhere. I may have to watch this. I think I have to. I need to know. This is literally just looking underneath the shoe after you stepped on a big nasty bug. I need to know. But I mean, this one little 28-second clip is perfectly reflective of the nonstop squawking we've been made to tolerate day in, day out. Incoherent seagull talk all day from the leftists in the media, from their activist, street walking class, and oh man, the squawking. It's like oh, it's so pathetic, incoherent. And it's funny. It's funny because you know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to find a little bit of that magic sauce that made Hamilton so popular with people, and they're trying to inject a little bit of Hamilton into the Little Mermaid. And I don't know. Maybe next time they should make a musical about all the junkies in San Francisco shitting on the street. I would go and watch that. A musical about it's just 50 homeless people in the cast, and they're all singing songs about shitting all over the streets of San Francisco and Philadelphia, taking the trank drugs, walking around like zombies, moaning. I think I may need to see this. I know it's a weird reaction, just seeing 28 seconds of that, but it's purely it's scientific inquiry. I'm curious. Now that's been destroyed, but I'll tell you one thing that has not. I hope I can get away with some of this over here. But my mother, I told you, my mother went with my father to go see Tom Jones. I think at the Beacon Theater in New York. I don't know, I forget what theater it is. I think it was the Beacon on Thursday. This guy is 83 years old. I think coming up this June, next month, I think he's 83 years old. Just incredible. My mother snuck a couple of things out, videos for me, especially when he sang Delilah. Let me see if I can get a little bit here. Hold on. Where are the spots I wanted to show you? Hold on. Listen to this. I saw the light that passed by the window. I saw the flickering shadows of love on her blind. Now, my mom said you can tell he really wanted to throw his hips around like he used to do, whatever. But he just couldn't. He's not in that good shape physically as far as being able to run around and stuff. But man, oh man, I'm listening to this and I had goosebumps. I said, shit, 83 years old, kicking ass. He's always had one of the strongest voices in the world, though. No doubt about it. Here's another little clip from the end of the song. Hold on a second. There he is. Dude, I mean, listen, you got to give it to him. I really do. Awesome. Really, really awesome. So, there you have it. There you have it. Now I'm going to get a couple of emails from somebody saying, Tom Jones, he was caught sacrificing goats, and I saw him sacrifice a goat in 1987. He's not a good guy, Frank. And then I'll be called a Tom Jones shill, and my life will be over. So that's it. I should have just shut my damn mouth. All right, so here's what I have for you. Now let's get on with the real show, since it's almost 10 o'clock, and I wanted to make this whole hour about this full hour about something else. Here is a story. It's called Only in Your State. It's from onlyinyourstate.com, and this was sent to me by Kelly out there in the audience. And we're going to get to their great adventure stories right after this. But here it is. This is one sad ghost town in Maine is the stuff nightmares are made of. So I want to drop this into the public consciousness of this show to see what we come up with, because we're going to have a lot of really awesome guests that explore these towns and go to places in the country that used to be thriving or had really amazing local culture, and just over the passage of time, for one reason or another, economic, generational shifts, whatever the hell's going on, they're just not there anymore. To an outsider, Maine may simply be a beautiful state with idyllic coastline and delectable lobster. See? Roaches. But once you get to know us a bit better, you'll find that we have our fair share of strange stuff. Between our many hauntings and downright wacky places to visit, Maine isn't always what it appears to be. The perfect example? The real story behind Flagstaff Lake and what lies beneath its surface. Of all the ghost towns in Maine, Flagstaff Lake might be the most intriguing. Imagine building a life with family, friends, and beautiful surroundings. Imagine sending your kids to school each day knowing they're being raised in a community with strong values, good friendships, and unwavering support. Now imagine that one day you learn all of that will soon end. Not only are you being forced to leave your home, but all traces of your existence will be erased. It's a nightmare, and it's one that the communities of Flagstaff Village and Dead River Plantation lived through in the early 1950s. The first permanent settlers of Flagstaff Village, which took its name from the flagpole erected by Benedict Arnold and his men, came in the 1800s. Drawn by the rich soil found in the Dead River food plain and timber resources, those who called the area home were rewarded with the eventual creation of a grist mill and sawmill. This led to additional settlement of the surrounding areas of Dead River and Bigelow plantations. Life was not without hardship, but it was a beloved community, that is, until 1949. In the mid-1900s, in an effort to consolidate Maine's electrical production, Walter Wyman of the Central Maine Power Company began acquiring local power companies. Soon, CMP was building hydroelectric dams in Maine. To continue and expand, Wyman recognized the need to build a dam that would control the waters of the Kennebec River. This plan would only be approved by Maine legislature if he agreed to lease the land that was to be in the flood zone. Wyman wasn't interested in that expense, but he was interested in a plan that put Flagstaff Village and Dead River Plantation in the way of ultimate destruction. This plan meant the construction of a dam in the Dead River at Long Falls by 1930. CMP was buying land from Flagstaff Village and Dead River Plantation. By 1948, the land was cleared. By 1949, it was burning, smoking, billowing for miles. Burned it all out. 1950 Long Falls Dam was built and lives were forever changed. The top photo below is home of May Savage. Below it is what became of her home when diverted waters from Dead River overtook it. Oh, that's horrible. Imagine this being your home with that awesome closed-in side porch. Probably had such awesome breezes during the summertime. A nice way to observe a snowstorm during the winter. May Savage, and then below it, that's what was brought in. Just water just completely covers up the porch. Beyond the porch, Many of the town's important buildings, such as the schoolhouse, were demolished, while some of the lucky ones were moved. But the most unfortunate of cases were the folks that never came to a monetary agreement with CMP. These homes simply remained, waiting for the incoming floodwaters to overcome them. Here's a little snippet from the Boston Globe, July 4th, 1949. Headline, Maine village about to die has farewell celebration. July 3rd, this tiny village doomed to disappear beneath the waters of a man-made lake relived its historic past today. The occasion, opening of the old home days, is a 2-day community farewell that brought 300 residents back for one last look at the old hometown. Simply, sorrowfully, they talked of the past. By common consent, little was said of the future, with the 25 families still clinging to their homes here. Wow. All around them, a treeless forest. Acres of stumps marked the area to be flooded by the Central Maine Power Company dam, now under construction. Over the village hung a pall of smoke from the burning brush cut by the woodsmen clearing the flowage. And for the most part, it was just a reunion of relatives, neighbors, and friends. They told the old stories, how Benedict Arnold, marching through the wilderness of Quebec, planted Flagstaff that gave the community its name, and how an old trapper found that staff and replaced it, and how there's always been a Flagstaff on that site. Someone asked what could become of the staff there now. There was a moment of silence. The postmaster, Evan Levitt, spoke up and said, why not leave it there? It will come above the water. Let it be the marker for the town. How long the last 25 families will be able to stay there is undetermined. The dam the power company is building is to add its water storage system may be completed by the fall, but the company may not flood the area until spring of 1950. We just read from an article from 1949. In July 1949, the town of Flagstaff had one last hurrah in a 2-day event that brought out 300 people. Most residents relocated to the nearby areas of Eustis and Stratton, but their families have not forgotten about the town their loved ones once called home. The Dead River Area Historical Society does an incredible job creating events and curating collections to ensure that these lost communities are not forgotten. Today, Flagstaff Lake offers a respite from busy days in Maine, but below are the fading foundations and reminders of a community that once flourished. There was a time when some even reported finding relics, such as cutlery, of days gone by near the shores. The next time you visit, take a moment to remember your past and those whose past lies beneath the surface of Flagstaff Lake. Wow. Wow. I know that we have people in Maine that watch. Jim Zell lives in Maine. I wonder if he knows about Flagstaff Village, if he's been there before. But, yeah, I thought that would be a really nice read for a Saturday night. So if that picks up anything for you, I mean, there's other creepy places in Maine they're talking about here, lighthouses and all that stuff, but I might keep this aside just as a little bit of a supporting piece of material for whenever we start talking about people who, talking to explorers who go to these older towns that have long since survived physically past their prime, and bring it up in the future. But if that digs up any kind of internal something for you, something you want to tell, then you can call in tonight. The number is 914-200-0269. The lines are open now. And now here is for another big-time topic for you, and I want to hear about. I want to know about a time when you leapt into the unknown. I want to know about the greatest adventure you ever had. Doesn't matter what it is. What I said over here in the thread, I want to know about a time you leapt into the unknown, went exploring at any age, winging it through wilderness in a strange city without a plan, perhaps, backpacking through a foreign country in search of some special something, a relic, an experience. Whether you had a goal or not, you were free-flowing in this moment, you were alone or you were with good company. I don't care what the circumstances were. It could be a big hike. We can talk about mountain climb, relic hunting, war stories. I know I know plenty of vets out there who see their time, though it is hard to think back on combat and in many instances. But I've had combat veterans that see their time in action as one of the greatest adventures in their lives. Adventures don't always mean that it wasn't without peril or anything like that. I mean, what about emigrating? What about emigrating, leaving your country of origin for a fresh start somewhere else, wherever the hell that is? Especially if there is a culture shock environment that you're going to be walking in on. That's the kind of thing I want to hear from people tonight, if you got any out there. And whereas I love emotional, symbolic, spiritual stories, metaphors for great adventures like parenthood, which is no doubt an adventure, I'm not looking for that in this show in particular. I want to hear about your very own Indiana Jones stories, and don't not call in because it's not actually you're looking for the Cross of Coronado, just something that was an adventure for you. I don't care how mundane you think other people might think it. I'm looking about your experience. 207, you're on the air. Who's this?
This is Ivy.
Ivy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So I have an adventure.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, so I left home at 15 in Manhattan, and I went out on the greatest adventure of my life. I was homeless. It was a really huge learning experience, for sure. And then I ended up in foster care, but I put myself there because I wanted to kind of get back in life again and educate myself fairly. So, I hitchhiked across the country. I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, let me ask you this. I'll ask you some questions because I have a few already. If you don't mind my asking, why did you leave? I mean, there's always reasons to leave big cities and want something a little bit new. But why'd you leave at 15? It sounds obviously you're all on your own, so you ran away. Did you run away from family? Did you have family? Why'd you leave home?
I was adopted, and it was a very uncomfortable situation, and things were not working out. And my mother was a single mother in Manhattan, and I was a turnkey kid, I guess you can say, and I also people didn't understand me very much because I didn't want to listen to anybody. So I was just a simple girl that wanted to live life without abuse and without programming and etc. So I left home at 15 because I couldn't take it anymore, and I wanted to see the world, and I did.
So, okay, so this is great. Let's go to your next step. How far did you travel from New York? You were hitchhiking. Did you know what your destination was, or you were just you wanted to head west, you wanted to head south, and what was your destination?
I had no destination whatsoever. I just wanted to go on the road, and I did, and I hitchhiked, and I heard your show the other night, and about hitchhiking. I wanted to call in so badly. I had the best experiences. I had one horrible one, but I fixed that real quick. And I met so many beautiful people all over the country. It was the most amazing 2 years of my life. People are so nice in this country. I can't even explain it. I went to San Francisco first on vacation, and I decided not to go back with my best friend, and we were in college in Manhattan. And I quit college and stayed in San Francisco, and then realized I didn't fit in there at all after 6 months, and then just hitchhiked, took trains, short flights, to every state. I met a beautiful gay ballet dancer, a male, who took me from Arizona to Texas. We had the best time ever. And then he invited me to stay with his family. I said, I could get off here and keep going. He was like, no, hang out with us. So I learned how to make burritos and all kinds of great stuff there. Learned how to country dance. I mean, I went to Texas and Arkansas and Florida, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, well, not in order. And it was just the people I met on the road. I mean, I had one horrible experience, but the people I met on the road were so beautiful in this country. So when I stopped watching the news 4 years ago, I will never, ever watch the news again because they lie. And I met beautiful people. This country is full of the best people I've ever met.
I'm loving this. So about what years were this? So you're 15. What years?
80s.
Okay, so throughout the 1980s, you are hitting the road. You're meeting people. You're really not tying yourself down to one place or another. Where did you? First of all, how did you get money for things like flights, for trains, for all that?
Okay, so when I was in college, before I went to San Francisco, we worked, of course. So I worked as a waitress at the South Street Seaport, and boy, oh boy, did I make a lot of money there. And so that saved my money to go there. Then I got a job at Pizzeria Uno in the Embarcadero in San Francisco, because you have to go into this the town to understand the people. So if you work wherever you are, you understand the people and you understand the life instead of being a tourist. So I didn't want to be a tourist, of course. So I took a job anywhere I could.
When did you first lay down roots? When did all of this? Did anything ever tether you down to a place? Did you ever fall in love?
Yes.
Fall in love? What's? Tell me about you moving out of this phase and into more settled times in your life.
Okay, it's a single mom. So that settled me down, but not enough. I didn't like the Matrix. I never fit in, and I knew I was not a winner in that world because it wasn't where my heart was and my soul was. So after my daughter grew older and finished college, that's when I settled down.
That is funny. And where and what was that? What was that settling down like? What, you wanted to be near her, or you just what?
No.
Okay.
I took her out of the Matrix cities where I gave birth to her, raised her, and I said, "Gosh, I'm not going to fit in here. My daughter certainly not, because she's from my loins. That's not going to happen." So so we came up to the country, way north. And I think she was in 5th grade, and I moved her from the city, not New York City. I lived in another one, and I moved us both up here, up north to the country. And so I didn't know how to shock her into living from the Matrix to the country life. I didn't want to shock her that much, because it's hard to do that with kids. It really is, when they're used to something. So I just decided to live as an example. When she graduated college, I went to the life I should be in, and that's where I am, like off-grid and solar, the whole 9 yards, and beautiful nature, sitting in my outdoor living room right now with a fire. It's amazing. And so hopefully she'll see what I'm doing now and not fall into the crap going on in the world.
That is a wonderful adventure. It really is. I'm so glad you got through and told us about it. There's probably more I can ask, but I think we got everything that we needed, and that's really something else. So your daughter must be about my age then.
No, she's 23.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's a young grasshopper. But thank you so much for your time, and I was very surprised that I got through, and I'm really nervous. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully if I ever get in touch with you again, I won't be so nervous.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, why would you be nervous? Everything that you've been through. Calling me up is fucking nothing. This should
I wasn't prepared. I'm never prepared, but I just wasn't prepared. But thank you so much. I just love your show. Well, really, you got me through the winter.
That's great. I'm glad. You got me through the winter too. The fact that you guys are out there, I think we're all helping each other, and I hope you get through again. And I'm so sorry that I can't store you with the Skype.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
All right.
Thank you so much for just answering my call.
Well, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm sure. Email me if you can't get through again.
Okay. Have a wonderful evening.
Later. There you go. I see with the Skype, I can just store people, take their names and all that. Wow, that was something else. That's one hell of an adventure. One hell of an adventure, and again, not without peril. Not without peril mixed in to some degree, but look at here. Look at here. All right, 914-200-200. I should say. 0269. Call in. I want to know about your big adventure. I have one over here on the thread. This one is from Jayhawker. It says, Frank, water skiing at Milford Lake is my favorite adventure, and it involves a ghost town. When the Army Corps of Engineers dammed up the Big Blue River to create Turtle Creek Reservoir, the nearby town of Milford, Kansas was in the floodplain, and residents had to be evacuated. Look, that's just exactly what we were talking about with Maine. Residents had to be evacuated out of the valley where a large lake had formed, Milford Lake. These people of Milford had moved what structures they could to a new settlement, but they left behind one small detail, their graveyard. When I was a kid, it wasn't uncommon for a corpse to shake free from the silt below and rise to the surface of the lake. It was always a roll of the dice whether we'd see a dead body floating on the lake when Dad would hitch up his boat to the family car and take us to the lake every summer. It still happens now and then and makes for an eye-rolling story on the 6 o'clock news. I would never go in that water. I already hate water I can't see the bottom of as it is. If I was in a lake knowing that there were dead bodies beneath me, you feel something brush up against your feet and you're like, what the fuck is that? There's no reward for that risk. There's no reward for that risk. I'm sorry. Skiing? Water skiing, going somewhere else. There's nowhere else. I guess I'm skateboarding. That's all. That's weird. I guess I'm skateboarding. Okay, let's take some more calls. We just had a couple and they all just blinked off the screen. Here we go. 760. You're on the air. Who's this?
This is Abraham.
Abraham, welcome to the show, Abraham.
I have so many different things I want to talk about.
Well, give me the best. Give me the best one.
Go with an adventure.
Yes.
When I was in high school, doctor/physical therapist said I need to start riding a bicycle because I'm flat-footed and I favor one foot. That was like the best thing for me because.
Wait a second. Did you say that a doctor wanted you to start riding a bicycle because you were flat-footed?
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's a whole story in itself. I've had 3 surgeries, 2 stainless steel screws, 5 fused bones, all on my right foot.
Wow.
That's because I was born with a club foot.
Did your father fight in Vietnam?
No, he worked at San Onofre Nuclear Generating Station in San Diego.
Okay, well, there's the other link. Keep going. Keep going.
So after the last surgery, I was favoring my right foot, so I wasn't building any muscle on that side. So the doctor said, hey, the best thing for you is ride a mountain bike. So I started doing that, and I just kept venturing farther and farther away from home. Lived kind of in a rural town, so there was a 35-acre orange grove right next to us, and then like a 100 acres or more north of us. So I just kept venturing further and further out, and it just got me out in nature just to enjoy the beauty of it, and that like has instilled a desire for me to just go hiking, enjoy nature, and it's stuck with me ever since.
Dude, that's awesome. That's incredible. And in that, do you find that in times of trouble that is always a therapeutic respite for you? Do you always go back to that, especially when you need it? Aside from just loving to do it, do you actually prescribe it for yourself when you feel like you can't take certain things anymore?
Yes, definitely. Like there's days where I feel either emotionally drained, physically drained. I bought a large piece of property, and so from the top of the property I have like 360 views, but 270 of them are about the best. And it's about a 10-minute hike, depending on how fast I want to go to get to the top of the hill. But I'll just hike up there, sit down, enjoy the views. We got, I don't know if they're hawks. I believe they're hawks. They're not falcons. That I'll see just flying around, just riding the current coming up the hillside. And I'll just sit up there and just enjoy the view and just kind of detach from the rest of what's going on in the world and just go, all right, okay, just enjoy the view, just listen to the birds in the bushes, just whatever it may be. So that's definitely something that I'll definitely do when I need it. It's
we were made to adventure that way. Abraham, what a great call. Thank you for that. Hey, one last question. Did you, with all the therapy, the bike riding, the surgery, do you have a proper arch in your foot now?
Yes, that's what the surgery in the 5 fused bone. So I do have an arch in my right foot now.
Okay.
There was a point in time where I couldn't run more than a half a mile before the pain got too bad. When I was in high school, I could run a mile just fine. Towards the end of it, I was doing a little bit of a zombie run, but yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you, and I'm glad that you got that. You've had that balance, that balanced routine instilled into you for one reason or another. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your mini adventures with us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, I will. You too.
There you go. There's Abraham. 914-200-0269. That's not the way I'm going to always say it. I'm trying to really drill this into my head right now because I was just about to say 595-6953. I miss it. I really do. That was my number. But Skype is ngee. Skype is ngee. What do I want to do? All right. 914-200-0269. We're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, more of your calls. I'm going to give you guys some time. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to think of it and call in because these types of topics, they work because the audience is involved. That's the big thing. Don't be worried. Don't be nervous. Just call on in and let's make some good radio together. We'll be right back.
Right now, we can't see much of anything, and frankly, this is what we can show you on television right now because of military restrictions from both the Saudis and the U.S.
CD, if you need to take cover, I notice that you've got your gas mask in your hands. If you need to put it on, please do so. If you need to take cover, please do so.
A white say. Charles Jaco, CNN, reporting live from Saudi Arabia. Oh, I love this country so much. Standing down now, I'm gonna go get my hamburger and my coffee.
Good. We just got the all clear.
All clear.
You're listening to Quite Frankly.
Why you get fired, man?
Are you crazy?
You're fucking paranoid,
You are fucking.
You fucking you bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck you bloody. Bastard bitch. Fuck you. Bloody fuck you bloody. Fucking mother bloody fuck bitch.
Bitch, you
Bloody fuck you fucking bloody bastard. Benchwood bloody. You blunder.
No, but why is
Bloody no.
Why?
Bloody
That
fucking.
is accident, then what you wanna do?
Why you fuck me? I fuck you bloody. Bitch. What the fuck, man?
Hash on the beat.
Are you crazy?
Fucking bloody bastard. Fucking bloody bastard, bitch. Fucking bloody bastard. Bloody fuck you, bloody bitch.
You are fucking.
You fucking you, bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck me, I fuck you, bloody. Fuck me, I fuck you, bloody. Fuck me, I fuck you, bloody. Fucking bloody bastard, bitch. Fucking bloody bastard. Bloody fuck you, bloody bitch. Fucking running like lady, eh? Bitch. Fucking running like lady, eh? Bloody bastard, bloody bitch. Bloody bastard, bloody bastard. Fucking mother bloody fuck bitch. Bloody no. You are fucking you bloody. You bloody. Fuck me, I fuck you bloody. Fuck me, I fuck you bloody. Fuck me, I fuck you bloody. Fucking bloody bastard bitch. Fucking bloody bastard. Bloody fuck you bloody. Bloody bitch. Bloody bitch.
What's up, Frank?
Nothing much. Give me something. Take me off a speakerphone.
You're not on speaker, but
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got my headphones in. Does it sound that bad?
It's a little it's a little woofy. It's a little boomy. It kind of sounds like I'm on speakerphone. But either way, get as nice, cozy with the receiver as you can, and let's go for it.
10-4. Well, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Did you see old Henry Kissinger, that reptile? He just turned 100 today.
Good for him. 100 years old, Henry Kissinger. Good for him. He was even in the Watchmen. He was even in the to think about all of the people in the Watchmen, all the political characters in the Watchmen figures that they had in there. I cannot believe that he's still around. Unless they
I know, right?
Did they have Pat Buchanan in there? I don't know, but it was Nixon and Kissinger, and he's still hanging around. Go ahead.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to say was about that GATE program.
The what?
The GATE program.
The GATE program. Yes. What about it?
That was the only other thing I wanted to talk about. Was they pulled me into some classroom for that, and it actually wasn't for the GATE program. They were just actually trying to figure out if I was retarded or not.
Yeah. Well, I hope you got a clean bill of clean bill of health from somebody there, Cody. And thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, my friend.
All right, man.
Yes. No, it's good to hear from you. Be well. I knew we were building towards something. I was just waiting for it. I thought he was going to say it wasn't for the GATE program. It was for the gay program. That's what he should have said. Anyway, let's see if we can regain some momentum here. 620, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Frank, it's Shannon. I got a new number, man. This is Shannon from Kansas.
Hey, Shannon, welcome to the show. So what's on your mind tonight? What do you got for me? A great adventure?
I was just going to tell you, the way I remember your new number is 91 for 2000 to 69. You know, like if you wrote it out in a sentence. That's how I've been remembering it.
From 2000.
But I've also got a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But wait. So then, what did you do with the 4 though? It's 914. It's not 91. Oh wait.
91 for 2000 to 69.
91 for 2000 to 69. Oh, 91 for don't. Hey, listen. You know what? If it works for you, that's all that matters. But go ahead, Shannon.
That's just how I. Hey, man, I was in. I heard one of the callers the other night talk about the gifted program.
Yes,
I was in that when I was in. I graduated in '88, so I was in first grade in '76, '77, and '72. I was in this gifted program, and they would take me and maybe one other person, and there were 4 of us in my class, which was a small school of like 34 in my grade of 2 classes, and they would take us to this small room, and it was all geared toward like NASA, like being an astronaut. But it was nothing. It never went very far at all. You know, it just maybe I was just not.
Yeah, maybe
I didn't spark them, like they wanted or something. I don't know.
I bet you any money there, and thank you for the call, Shannon, because I'm thinking about this stuff here too. I wonder if there was some sort of I mean, who knows what they were recruiting for, or what they were trying to figure out what kind of human resources they had at their disposal. But the NASA space element has popped up in some testimonials too, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to find out who would be good candidates for any of their either cosmonaut programs or their chrononaut programs. Remember, on Saturday nights, those are prime times that we would talk to people like Andrew Bashago, and I should talk to him about the GATE program one night. Thank you for the call, Shannon. That'd be interesting. I mean, he wasn't traversing space per se. He was talking about jump rooms to Mars as an interdimensional thing, and I think Mars, when he was talking about it, his experience, he said it was more so of almost like a code name. So I don't even know if it was the actual Mars that we've been led to believe is the red planet. But anyway, good one. Another good one. All right, so we took a little bit of a deviation into GATE program territory. Let's see if we can get back into some adventure stories. Okay. Robert, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Robert, you got us a good adventure story tonight?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I can't wait. The floor is yours.
Well, I don't know about good adventure, but it was my adventure.
Good.
I'm down here on the Rio Grande on the Mexican border, and how I got here was from Kansas City. About the year 2000, I quit my job. Well, I pretty much got fired, but I sold everything, threw everything in my canoe, told the whole world to F off, and I'm gone. I put in on the Missouri River, right there in downtown Kansas City, and I paddled my canoe on down to the Mississippi, and then I paddled the Mississippi on down to the mouth of the Merrimack, and then I paddled up the Merrimack, and then I carried my stuff about 33 miles to the Current River, and then I went down the Current, down the Black, down the White, back into the Mississippi in lower Arkansas. And then right above Baton Rouge, I cut through the swamps near this, it's called the Chaffalaya Cut. And I took that Chaffalaya Cut on into the Chaffalaya Lake, and then I paddled into the Intercoastal Waterway system there in southern Louisiana, and paddled the Intercoastal on into Texas. And right there at Corpus Christi, I paddled up the Nueces River, and by now it's winter time. I left in the summer, and by now it's winter, so it's cold as hell. And I make it up to a town called Cotulla, I don't know, Carrizo Springs area, and I'm like, well, hell, my vision, I'm trying to make it to the Pacific Ocean, just like Lewis and Clark. I said, man, my dumb ass, I'm trying to go west, and I'm just looking for a spot to start over.
Listen, you almost did it. I mean, you were. This is incredible. Now, this entire journey. First of all, do you still have the canoe?
Oh yeah. No, I eventually made it to the Pacific, and it took me 2 years.
And you were able to
made it. I paddled. I carried my stuff to the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass. I paddled up the Rio Grande to Presidio, and then I started walking. I had this portage cart that I put my canoe on, and I started walking through the desert, through Marfa, all the way through El Paso, all the way up into New Mexico to Silver City, New Mexico, and then I put my canoe back out on the Gila River. And then I paddled the Gila into Arizona, and then the river dried up on me, so I had to put my stuff back on my portage cart and continue on west on Highway 10 on into California, and I dropped right in San Diego at La Jolla Beach, and that's where I hit the Pacific Ocean right there at La Jolla Beach. Then I started paddling up the Pacific to to the Bay or Delta area, and I paddled up the Sacramento River, up into Shasta Lake. I smoked everybody's weed. I hung out there for a while. Then, spring was starting to break again, so I went ahead and walked across the Oregon with my canoe on my portage cart to the Columbia River. Then I paddled up the Columbia, up the Snake, up the Clearwater to Lewiston-Clarkston area, right where Lewis and Clark had crossed at Lolo Pass. And then I crossed over into Montana and put in just below the Great Falls in Montana, back on the Missouri River, and then I paddled all the way back down to where I started in Kansas City. And then I started getting job offers. It changed my whole life forever. I was a construction worker before. I was a nobody. I was just a dude. I felt like Forrest Gump, man. I just headed out.
Robert, that's exactly what I'm seeing in my head. It's the canoe version of Forrest Gump. And
exactly.
And it's incredible to me because I know a lot of truck drivers. I know people who are very well traveled. It's part of their job or it's a passion, and they can talk to you about highways, highways and routes. They can get from one part of the country to the other without even needing. They don't need a map. They don't need anything. They just know these routes. The fact that you're talking to me about rivers like I would talk to a local around here about the I-95 or 287. Or 684 or something like that. It's just incredible how let me ask you this: Is it? It almost seems like you can get anywhere by river in a canoe. Can you literally get anywhere by canoe?
That's how it was, brother. That's how everybody did it. And that's what really got me going. It's like 100 years ago, this is how people did it.
How long did this trip take you?
2 years.
2 years to get from Kansas City all the way back to Kansas City. You went all the way down. You went down there. You through Texas, Mexico, the Pacific. You did the Lewis and Clark route, and then you went all the way up through the Pacific Northwest and back down again. Dropped back onto it. How did you survive that time? Was it by the good graces of just people around you? Did you have some money saved up? Did you do odd?
Man, I was a broke joke. I literally had less than $500 to my name, and I was like, well, I'll just figure it out as I go. And then everywhere I went, I would have people wanting to feed me, wanting to help me. They'd give me advice. No, you should go this way and not that way. And when I hit the Rio Grande, I bumped into a team working for, they were writing a book for National Geographic. And the guy that was guiding that team said, man, I don't care whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. If you ever run out of money, just give me a call. And he helped me, every once in a while he'd send me $100 or something and say, keep going, don't stop, keep going. And then, I would buy everything. Every time I come to a bridge, I would tie up and I'd walk into a town or, a convenience store or a gas station, and I'd buy all the ramen noodles and peanut butter and tortillas and jelly and a big old thing of icing, cake icing, and a big jug of Mountain Dew or, just whatever, and load down and just keep going, every 50 miles or so, you'd come across something where you can resupply, and I was a broke joke. I didn't have no money.
Well, hey, listen, bro, to talk about money. And I asked about it just because I'm wondering how you're eating along the way you're doing that stuff. But as far as man, this is the kind of experience is very hard to even think about buying. But so, would you agree? You would agree with our first caller in her assessment that, why she doesn't watch the news anymore, about how Americans, just people along the way, real people along the way, whether it's in America or maybe in some parts of Mexico you were at, that people are just really amazing and willing to help?
Exactly. You got to disconnect. And it gave me an opportunity to disconnect from the whole society, from everything. I wasn't watching the news. I didn't care.
What year was this?
I was the happiest I've ever been in my life.
What year was this? When did the 2-year journey begin? What was the year again?
2000. It was May 26, 2000.
Oh. Man, so you were on the road when 9/11 happened.
Yeah. Actually, I was on this little creek in California that paralleled the Pacific Ocean. And these bridge workers yelled down at me because I was camped under the bridge with my canoe, and they're like, "Hey, man, you got a radio?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got a radio." They're like, "Turn it on." So I turn on the radio, and I could hear the towers crashing with this radio station. I'm like, "Freak, well, what the fuck?" And, I had a .22 rifle, I had a shotgun, and it sounded like we was going to war. We're getting attacked, I was like, it was a weird feeling.
Oh.
Yeah, I was counting my bullets. I hunkered down. I found a little hidden spot and hunkered down for a couple of days and listened to the radio, just trying to figure out what was going on.
I really wonder, you're talking about a time in your life that I have to imagine is it's a big transition. For anybody to do something like that big, even though you're not, it's not the Forrest Gump kind of sensationalism out there. In Forrest Gump, he's running all around and he's attracting followers and there's cameras and all that. You are one guy out on a personal adventure, and as you're going through this transition in your own life, the entire world is transitioning with 9/11. It's a very violent birth into a new world. You were out on the road for the last of the old world to be experienced like that.
And I thought that from the very beginning, something in the back of my head was telling me, dude, take it in, because this is all going to change.
Oh yeah, a man
this won't be here forever.
A strange man in a canoe under a bridge every day after 9/11 would probably draw a different kind of attention. Yeah, so
it changed my life. That's
for
sure. It was the biggest adventure and I'm a different guy because of it. And, now I'm down here. I worked as a river guide for a little bit, and I met some of the greatest people. It was more about the people I met, man. It's just unbelievable how nice. Because in the beginning, you're like hating people, and they're like, "Oh, the world sucks." Da, 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 da. But I regained my faith in humanity in big time, because everywhere I went, even the cops, everybody was just helping me, and even the cops would be like, "You're really not supposed to be doing this, but I'm going this way, and as long as you go the other direction, I didn't see nothing."
Well,
it was crazy how well people treated me. I couldn't believe it. I'd be thirsty. I'd be in the middle of the desert, dragging my canoe down I-10, and that's an interstate. I'm not even supposed to be on that damn thing, and hot. 120 degrees. It was July. I'll never forget it. July 4th, just out of nowhere, some complete stranger in this big old hoopty pickup truck stops that's loaded with a bunch of watermelons and says, "Here." I mean, he didn't even say here. He just walked up to me, handed me a watermelon, and drove off. And I'm like, what the hell is that all about? These are really magical encounters there. One last question for you, Robert, because I want to see if I can get a few more on before we end at 11. What was your settle down point? I hear people in the background. Is that your children? Where did you settle down, and when did you settle down for good? Well, when I got back to Kansas City, I made this call down here at the Rio Grande, because there was river guides, and they offered me a job. They're like, anytime you want, come back here and get a job. So I give them a call, and I said, "You remember me?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, come on, get your ass down here and go to work." And that's Terlingua, Texas. I'm down here in Big Bend. It's at the base of a national park, and so I got to kind of do my dream still, working in a national park and whatnot, and being a river guide.
Do me a favor. Before we end tonight, is there any way that you can email the show, quitefranklypodcast@gmail.com? Can you email the show a picture of the canoe, or so? I want to see the canoe that has all these miles on it. Can you do that before?
Yeah. No, I got video. I did all I could to document the thing.
Well, send me just at least one picture that I can show off to the audience, because I'm sure everybody wants to see this canoe. All right, then Robert, and
No
please
problem.
keep in touch. Keep in touch too, either through future calls or through that email. And thank you for this call.
Well, I watch you all the time, and I appreciate you. And I thought, well, hell, I'll give him a call. So thanks for answering my call, and I'll send you an email.
I was the lucky one answering tonight, Robert. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to be on the lookout for that one. I want to see this canoe. There's a lot of miles on that canoe. And when it wasn't in the water, it's being dragged on highways and he's in deserts, and just to find another waterway that can take him to his next destination. Wow. That was that's great. That is great. Let's do 562. You're on the air. Pete.
Frank, how's it going?
It's going. So, what's your big adventure?
I got a little story for you. It's maybe a little bit different than some of the other callers, but I'm going to tell you about a dream I had probably, 25, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream that I was going to travel to a tropical country. I was married at the time, just was a one-time thing, kind of out of the blue. And 6 years ago, I met a beautiful lady from the Philippines. And been with her for about 5 years now. And it's just, I was a business owner, on West Coast, just, something that's like totally out of the norm for me. But the fact that I dreamt about something and, 25 years later it came to fruition was, I don't know, kind of, maybe
so the adventure, the places and the destinations you saw in your dream, you witnessed them out there on the road with your woman.
I didn't actually see the destination. I saw it didn't really have a specific location. It was just I had a dream that I would end up in a tropical location.
And so you live in the Philippines right now, or that's where you were at the time?
I go back and forth right now from the Philippines. I've got some older folks that I'm taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
So I am here on the West Coast right now. But I've pretty much set up shop there. I have a house there. I just gave up. I gave up everything here. And in 2018, late 50s, and off I went.
Well, if you ask me, Pete, you can say you gave it all up over here and you just went off to it. It sounds like you gained everything, not gave up everything. And I'm glad that the dream came true. And thank you so much for the call. That's a wonderful one. And I see that we're ticking away over here with the time, so I want to make sure that we get a couple more calls in. Pete had a dream. Catch up to him in real life. What about that? 480 Wood Group. Who's this? Wood Group. 480, you there?
It's a company phone.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, hello, Mr. Wood.
Howdy.
So, what do you got for us?
Is this Frank?
Yes, it is. You're on right now.
Well, hot damn. That Robert guy, you can't beat that story.
Jeez, we had a couple of good ones tonight. But listen, I love I'm open for it all. Nothing. It's not a contest for me, but that was a good one. What do you have for us?
That was I graduated high school in 1974, and me and my buddy got in his Mustang, and we drove to Minnesota, stopping along the way in Lincoln, Nebraska, because we had to redo the valve train because it didn't work. And then we drove up to Minnesota and stayed there, went up into Canada, and drove around in this Mustang with it on empty. And we just kept going. It was and we'd fill up, and it just didn't take any gas. And so we ended up driving back down into, I don't know where the hell, probably upstate New York or something. And we pulled in, and gas was a little cheaper. And we was like, yeah, gas is cheaper. And I go, you been in Canada? We're like, yeah. And he goes, did you ever hear of the Imperial Gallon? Because we ran that Mustang all over the place in the middle of nowhere on empty, thinking that it would sooner or later run out. Okay, which it never did. But it turns out the Imperial Gallon is 5 quarts.
What's the what's the Imperial Gallon? I don't understand this.
The Imperial Gallon in Canada is what I always call it. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. Anyway, it's a you're saying 4 quarts.
Right. So their quart, their gallon is a extra quart.
5 quarts. Yes.
Okay.
Quart. So yeah. And we're like, holy shit, we could have ran out of gas. I don't know.
Really? do they? Is the Imperial Gallon just used for? Is that used for everything liquid, or is that just a gas measurement thing for the Canadians? Because that's weird.
You know, I don't know. Because, like I said, I live in Phoenix. For pretty much my whole life, I've moved around here and there, but. All we know is we were really on empty and running on fumes. Luckily, that Hypo 289 Mustang got like 30 miles to the gallon almost. Which is unheard of. But anyway, you can't do that now.
No, you can't. But that sounds like a nice, a really free and easy.
It was a cool adventure. I mean, next year will be 50-year anniversary of graduating. So
see, that's what I'm talking about. I think that there's something to that. And when I hear about these kind of these experiences that are had when you are young, especially when you're with your friends, you're in or around the high school area, just getting out, there is so little tying you down. There's such a greater feeling of levity, especially when you go back in time. Throughout the decades, like you're bringing us right now. I think that it'd be much harder. It's infinitely harder for somebody 17, 18, 19 years old to go on an adventure like you had. Now,
the prices are so higher now.
Price,
everything,
security.
Gas back when I started driving was 25 cents a gallon for a premium 100 plus octane.
Well, and thank you so much for the call here. This is a wonderful one. I appreciate you, and please keep in touch with the show.
I have one more thing to say to you.
Real quick, go ahead.
Thank you for wishing me happy birthday on February 24th.
Oh, well, listen, who sent it in? Was it a wife or something?
Abby, my wife.
I don't remember it right now, but I got to tell you.
We listened to it this afternoon.
So that was back in February. I don't remember the birthday wish, but I can tell you this, my friend. I have such a good time doing all those birthday wishes. It really is a genuine delight for me to do them, and I'm glad that you got one, and I'm glad that we got to talk tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Frank.
All right, man. And listen, again, as I always tell people, if you ever want to share your thoughts on any subject and you can't get through, email me, all right?
Will do.
All right, take care. So, yeah, gas prices, all types of just surveillance, security. The culture is different. There's a lot more weirdos out there. There's a lot more people just on, I don't know. I don't want to castigate. Remember, we're trying. One of the main themes tonight that has popped up organically is that the news is giving us the bad side of humanity that needs to be kept at bay. There's always going to be problems, and we have more problems now than we ever have, no doubt about it. But it's a planet with 8 billion people on it, and most of them will help you out in a pinch. I would have to say, a majority would. All right, a couple of things over here. Let's go to some. Let's see here. I don't know where the hell I'm at. Oh, here it is, right here. satiating gust of inspiration into all of us tonight. Oh, at least I hope so. There's some really, really great, wholesome things that came out in this show tonight. Valsky on the Rumble Rant says, I love coffee, but hold the human breast milk, and hard pass on the colostrum too. No cow colostrum? Poso for Hope says, nothing like immigrants learning our language and culture. They truly enjoy the American dream. And then I think that is it over there. Over on QuiteFrankly.tv, the Gold Pills, Put in Hollow, thank you. Secret Weapon says, thanks, Frank. Thank you, Secret. Sean Joe, Tempo 420, Robert Sarnes, and Winston Dave says, what a pleasant and enjoyable way to spend a Saturday evening. Great bunch of stories. I agree. I am very satisfied. I have everything I wanted to do done. I have a little bit left over that I think is perfect for another night on this show. I'm looking at them over here, and I'm glad that we didn't get to these other points because I can make shows out of them as it is. But the greatest adventure you've ever been on. We may have to revisit this one down the line. As we have to revisit a lot of other threads that we started in the past, we have to revamp them because all of those threads are gone since they were hosted on Reddit, and now we have our own very independently hosted forum on QuiteFrankly.tv, which I hope you all start using more and more because it is the lifeblood of our joint production efforts together. So I'm releasing the scratching out of them on Rumble. I mean, on QuiteFrankly.tv. Thank you, everybody over here that's been watching on Rumble. We're going to have a great week ahead of us. I hope that you enjoy your Memorial Day. We'll be back on Tuesday the 29th. No, Tuesday the 30th with Rich Barris. He'll be on with us then. And that's all I got for you. So thank you to everybody who has been watching on Twitter, on DLive, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Theta, on Foxhole, on Rumble, on Rockfin. You have
the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience. And now, our super chatters. Starting with Palador Veros, CPT Fiction, Mark Swan, Uber Viking, to all of our friends over there on the Rumble Rants, to our Gold Pillars, and to everybody that I have yet to hear from. I'll see you all soon. Become a sponsor of the show on the Sponsor Us tab on QuiteFrankly.tv. And remember, we are starting our spring book club session with Charlie Robinson on Thursday. So be a part of that. Become a sponsor. Talk to you soon.